So when you get comfortable, you should be paranoid that something is wrong, because it probably means you're not growing as fast as you potentially could. Today, we are talking about 13 lessons learned from breaking 1.2 million in annual recurring revenue in 2021. So at the time of this recording, it is 2023, and we've just been really busy growing, implementing better and better workflows, hiring, implementing our custom design web app. In that time, though, I have had some time to reflect. I've been meaning to write this, and I wanted to get it out there. I want to do it for a couple of reasons. Number one, I want to give value and perspective to the entrepreneurs and the marketers who are in our audience and who are aspiring to be a $1 million, multi-million dollar company. I want, when people hear me and the company speak, I want them to know that, we are at a certain point and that we speak with a good measure of credibility on marketing, because not only are we doing it and surviving and thriving as a company since 2010, 13 years now. We put together this list of 13 lessons learned. These are lessons that have sort of come to mind both throughout that year of 2021. First, number one is you are only a few, maybe one great decision away from success, from getting to the next level, or even growing at what can feel like an exponential rate, even if it isn't exponential. The one decision that we made was to change the offer, to go in the direction of something that was less proven, because there were competitors that we knew of that were, okay, done for you sales funnel just for coaches, for example, just for real estate agents, whatever. And it's like so-called best practice prevailing wisdom. Go niche, the rich is in the niche. And, I am an advocate of that. I think it's a very practical business move. So for us, we didn't pick a target market per se. We were just like, look, we know that agencies have this problem for sure. And we're certain that other businesses, like you need a marketing team. And that's the problem that we were solving, but in a unique way by, putting out this app. Where you can just log in and delegate whatever you wanted. It was that one critical decision, and then not only the decision, but the conviction to follow through. And I remember just psyching myself up, I don't know why, but this moment when I was walking through my bedroom, laying on the bed, typing at the keyboard, and I just kind of come back to it, and I'd be like, it's gonna work. It's gonna work. If there isn't a market, we're gonna make them. Because there wasn't a solution that we knew of that was exactly like this at that time. And we were also in 2015, way before this, one of the first, productized services out there. Sometimes just one or a few decisions away from success. Second lesson, the products might be great, but holding back your growth is often your own or your team's own lack of diligence or imagination. I think it's easy to cap the vision that you have for the future. And what is capping that is often your imagination. So, if it's a conscious choice, no problem. But you need to make that choice consciously. It's okay, we only want to get to this point, or I see it exactly this way, and that's pretty much it. And if it only gets to whatever X amount in terms of revenue or size, make that choice consciously. And if not, you might want to exercise your imagination a bit more, how big of an impact do you want to have, in what way do you want to have it? What type of company culture do you want to have? How do you want that in terms of lifestyle, in terms of your work? These are important questions that you need to ask yourself as an entrepreneur, as a marketer. Is it my ability that is capping my own growth? If so, what dimension do I maybe need to improve upon or double back on, and really sit down, head down, analyze what is it that I'm not seeing here potentially? How can I test something outside the box? Where can I get better information, advice, or guidance from? Lesson number 3, focus on the problem. Generally focusing on the pain point, it's a best practice, and it works, and it has always worked. And that's why it's in our tried and true checklist when we're writing a sales page from scratch. It's always problem, and stick the knife in, and then agitate, twist it. But even beyond copywriting, from a tactical perspective, focusing on the problem, it comes back to how you design your service or your product, and just kind of keep coming back. What's the problem? And then how does your solution link in with that problem, like a puzzle piece fitting into? Because the more snugly that it fits into that space, the better job that you are doing of actually solving that problem, and the higher the perceived value, the higher the client or customer satisfaction will actually be. Number 4, double down on what gets results. The right answer isn't always a trick or a hack in most cases. So this one is pretty simple, pretty straightforward. So I think that another reason why, if I could have gone back and advised myself back then, one thing I would have said is keep doing content. Don't stop doing content. Part of the reason we stopped in March of 21 is because we were so busy. Our entire team did not have time to do content, but we stopped it for a long time, I think too long, and I think that affected some of our SEO traffic. But going back, I would say keep doing that, because that was a big factor in helping us to get to that point where we were doing well, and where we were growing fast and we were profitable. It's very easy, I think, to have this nonsensical, irrational, and I can say that because I've had it in the past, and it's tempting to just go back to what's the secret, what's the trick. The thing is, you need to realize that the world is built by people who are often no smarter than you, and their hard work is really underrated. When you reflect and you see, okay, something worked, keep doing that thing. As Noah Kagan has said in the past, scale the peaks, baby. So you go to any analytics tool like Google Analytics, you see, look, on Wednesday, traffic spiked and we did something different that day. Let's just keep doing that until it stops working. Number 5, if an offer works well, but the numbers don't, then keep tweaking gradually until it does. I think early on in those early years, I knew that we could build something that was more scalable than the agency that we were currently running, because I wanted to have a bigger impact. And the agency was kind of the starting vehicle for us. Over time, we just iterated, we rebuilt the vehicle, we put new wheels on it. I would say the vehicle, what makes up that vehicle too, is also, what is your pricing model? What is your business model? So we changed to a subscription-based business model where unlimited requests could be delegated, for example, and has consistently had a high perceived value among our clients. So we launched that, kept iterating, and we've added additional skill sets on top of that, because I knew that was part of the problem that I wanted to solve. We saw clients requesting it too, and we were just stacking the value. Number 6, without a team, your company growth potential is capped by default. I've seen some videos recently on YouTube where solopreneurs are interviewed, and I know some of these guys who are pretty well known from the past. Interestingly, one of them has moved into, having a team from the solopreneur role, and you're almost required to do that if you want to build something that I think can run, exist, and maintain sustainably outside of you. I think that team is kind of underrated for the reason that it's like, let me build a lifestyle business. Look at these guys over here. They're doing $1 million and they're a one person, or 6 figures and they're a one person company. But I think to really build a company, I think you have to have a team. As I wrote here, as you grow, you want the right people on the bus, in the right seats, wrong people off the bus. This comes from Jim Collins in his book, Good to Great. And as you grow, team is everything, because you're not going to be right a lot of the time. There are skill sets that you don't have, and there are people that are just going to complement you really well, be a compliment to as well, in terms of your ability, your experience. Number 7, know your founder superpower. I know that, Alex, you have a question about this coming up.
Oh, yeah.
But briefly, what I believe, I think that different people have different latent, sometimes unknown abilities that you may not be aware of. Some of that may be hidden in childhood, and even looking at the things where sometimes, like the things that you hated, growing up, and realizing that those things actually help to make you who you are today and make you unique from other people in terms of their abilities compared to your abilities. Yeah, knowing your founder superpower, really important, because once you understand that, you can know how to better apply your own energy and efforts to different problems as they arise. And you can have more conviction and self-esteem in terms of, when problems arise, that you will actually be able to solve them. So for instance, for me, I think having a high pain tolerance in general is good for entrepreneurs, mentally, intellectually, because there are going to be so many problems that you will face that you just, every time something new, you don't know how to solve it. But you have to solve it. There is no going back. It's either,
Right.
what are you going to do? Shut down the company? You could. It's always an option, but burn the boats, move forward. And I think in general, you can also build that if you don't have it, through exercise or practice. Number 8, pay down technical and operational debt in order of priority. So what we mean here is not financial debt, but technical in terms of and operational. We've had in the past in the form of like the app wasn't good enough. We had all these plans and we just wanted it all done immediately, but reality is a bitch. You have to work with what you have, and we only had X number of developers. So we had to prioritize based on, okay, what is the most important thing? All right, so we need project management and we need live chat. Okay, we got that. And now we're at the point where, we can do some more advanced things like implementing white label features, offering access. This is coming out right now as we speak. We are going to enable the ability for clients and potential clients who are interested, you may be watching this video, to sign up for free for the app. And you can get a free preview, hands-on of the app, so you can know exactly what the experience is that you're going to get. So you can see all the project templates. You can chat with a project manager or a strategist. You can answer your questions before you actually sign up and invest. And you can even plan out your ideas so that when you do actually make your first payment, you can hit the ground running and you have exactly planned out what it is you want to delegate. So helps you get more value. Lesson number 9, master your time or burnout and chaos. This is my proprietary DOME task system. DOME task stands for do, done, minutes that it's going to take for the task, because this is planning out your tasks. When is the task done? When you're actually doing it. When is it due? So you're kind of racing against the clock. What's the order that you're going to do it in? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 minutes. How long does it take? E is for energy. Is this or enthusiasm? Like, are you, is this going to boost your energy? Is it going to drain your energy? Or is it neutral? And then a description of the task. And you can hold this up to the camera. You kind of get a glimpse of how it looks there. And so this is a structured kind of day-by-day thing that I've used that has worked for me to organize my time and actually make me feel pretty good about work and what I'm personally accomplishing towards the goal of growing the business on a day-to-day basis. Lesson 10, focus, do less, do it better. Ignore everyone, accept your team and your customers. Okay, so I think for this lesson, it comes back to understanding, like, again, what is the problem? So many entrepreneurs, some very successful ones too. Serial entrepreneur is seen as a badge of honor. I do not necessarily see it as, something that's not what I want to be. Let me put it that way. So for me, I do not want to be a serial entrepreneur. I want to stay focused on one company and on doing this one thing. Our mission, accelerate creativity and the entrepreneurial spirit, and just do it better and better and better. Mm-hmm. And, just constantly beefing up our solution, improving the overall experience. It's really, really easy as an entrepreneur, because oftentimes your energy level, you kind of have to train yourself to have like a higher level of energy to sustain over many years. Because you have that higher level of energy, oftentimes you will be susceptible to shiny object syndrome, where you just want to go, oh man, like, another entrepreneur, Alex Hormozi, puts it really well, where he calls, instead of shiny object syndrome, he calls it the woman in the red dress, which is a reference to Neo in The Matrix, in the first film, where he is being taught by Morpheus, like, what is the Matrix? And they're in a simulation and they're walking down the street. All these people are passing, and a woman in a red dress walks by. Then Morpheus tells him, look back again. And he looks back and it's Agent Smith pointing a gun at his head. In business, it becomes more and more tempting the more successful that you are in terms of whatever it is you're achieving, you're pursuing. It takes a good amount of discipline to just say no to pretty much everything except the things that matter, like listening to your team and to your customers and just focusing, solve the pain point. Steve Jobs has a quote as well. To paraphrase what he said, I think building a great product is not about saying yes, it's about saying no. And I think that applies for entrepreneurs and the entrepreneurial to say no a lot. Lesson 11, know your margins, stick to them like a nun to Jesus. So the nun to Jesus reference hopefully just makes this more memorable for you, because nuns are religious. They have the rosary, they're holding it, they're praying often, they're sticking to their man, to their belief. Know your margins, though, is something that I think a lot of entrepreneurs, especially early on, myself included, there's a lot of other priorities swirling, and it's easy to put this to the side. But it's so important, because if you do not stay profitable as a company, you will not have a company. The easiest way to know your margins is to learn how to do a simple COGS or just cost analysis. So COGS stands for cost of goods sold. If you are selling a service or a product, what are all the costs that go into selling to one client account or one widget to a customer? Know those numbers. And then what is your revenue by comparison? And revenue should always be higher than, and there are two types of margins. There's gross margin, and you could call it net profit margin or net cash flow positive for the month, whatever period you're looking at it. For us, we focus on the net, because that is ultimately what comes out at the end of the day. Is that's what's left over for us to save and to reinvest to keep growing the business. Being driven by anger is effective. As David Goggins says, you can keep a cookie jar of all the things that people said to you or did to you in your life that wasn't nice, wasn't good. And you can go into that cookie jar, you can take a cookie and you can eat that cookie, and it can fuel you to work hard. And I've done that for a long period of time. I remember first year in business, I took a piece of paper and I wrote down quotes from people in my family in particular, and I pasted it in front of the wall in front of me, and so I would look at it all the time. And one of the gems that I got from them was that you seem lazy and unambitious. And so I took that, and that went right into the cookie jar, and that was in front of me all day, and I used that as fuel. And so in our first year, we broke 6 figures, and I was real proud of that, and we were profitable. I think though that can sort of grind on you a little bit though, over time. I mean, I think you can have negative energy and emotion. You can use that to push you forward, but I think you also want something pulling you forward as well, something to hold on to that you're climbing up on, rather than running to minimize something else. So I think hope for a better future, I think is more sustainable, and you can use both to drive you forward.
I think both is good. Yeah.
And finally, lesson 13, discomfort equals growth. So when you get comfortable, you should be paranoid that something is wrong, because it probably means you're not growing as fast as you potentially could. You want to move towards things that are uncomfortable. You need to be very, very aware of this, because we are very tempted to think that at any given moment, we've arrived. We made the sale. We did the partnership. We launched the new feature. We hired 10 more people. The company made $1 million. No, it's never comfortable. It should, you never want to be comfortable, because when you start to be comfortable, you stop growing. The analogy of going to the gym, of exercising, of putting your body through discomfort in order to build muscle, in order to build stamina, so that you can finish the race or win the race, is very, very applicable. Because mental discomfort of solving very difficult problems or complex problems in your business, even if they're not objectively difficult, they could feel just complex or difficult because you just don't want to do them.
You could say friction feeds the fire.
Yes. And, to use the analogy that you just gave of friction too, Steve Jobs had the story. He used to go to his neighbor's house when he was a kid. His neighbor had this rock tumbler in it, and they would put these just regular old rocks that they got from around the house, around the neighborhood. His neighbor would put them into this rock grinder, and the rock grinder would rotate over and over and over. And he would come back a few days later, and he found that the rocks were like polished gems when taken out of this rock tumbler. And in his analysis later on in life, he said, building a company and building a team is a lot like putting rocks into a rock tumbler, because if you do it right, you're going to bump up against each other. There's going to be friction. There's going to be decisions made that are difficult, but everyone's going to come out like a polished gem. Everyone's going to get better. and that grows the team, grows the company. Discomfort equals growth. So be uncomfortable.
Absolutely. Matt, what more can you tell us about what's next for AutoGrow? What future developments can clients look forward to?
So what's next for AutoGrow is we are on our way to 8 figures. We look forward to continuing to share the journey and what we are learning as we onboard more clients and we hire more people to our global team. And as far as features, I mentioned earlier in this video that we're coming out very soon. We're going to make the official announcement with our white label partnership features. It's sort of like Shopify, but for selling digital marketing services under your own brand. And we think that's awesome. Our clients are pretty excited about it, the ones who have been our early beta testers of it, because you can set your own price, you can build your own package custom, and you don't have to do any of the work. You just bring your audience into your marketing, and we do all the work. We do all the client support, and we do the project management and everything else. And you just collect a check. So it's a new revenue stream. If you're looking for one, like if you're a SaaS company, or if you're an agency, it's a way to directly scale, and you can just focus on selling and we do the fulfillment for you, and you don't have to do anything with hiring. And your clients can just basically delegate to us. So that's pretty exciting. And for anyone, to wrap things up, if you're interested to learn more about autogrow.co, go check us out. It's autogrow.co. You can delegate all of your digital marketing projects and tasks without the headaches of hiring. We have a $7 for 7-day trial. Some of the skill sets included, up to 16, are copywriting, design, development, ads, strategy, project management, and more. So check us out at autogrow.co. You can get started for just $7. Thank you very much.